Do you ever feel a little bit weighed down? Not just by the physical things around you, but by an unseen burden that follows you through your days. It's a feeling many of us experience as we accumulate more years, more memories, and often, more stuff. We look around our homes, our digital lives, and even our relationships. And sometimes there's a quiet whisper that says, "There's just too much." This isn't just about tidying up a messy drawer. It's about the emotional and mental clutter that can subtly steal our peace and lightness. The painful reality is that if we don't address this accumulation, it can become a heavy legacy, not just for us, but potentially for our loved ones later on. It robs us of the freedom and joy we truly deserve in this wonderful chapter of life. But what if there was a simple secret to feeling lighter, more vibrant, and truly free as you approach your 70s and beyond? In this video, we're going to dive into 6 specific areas where decluttering can transform your life, helping you shed what no longer serves you. It's about making space for what truly matters and embracing a new level of ease. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you. So, let's begin this journey of liberation by looking at the very first thing that often comes to mind when we talk about decluttering the physical items that fill our homes, our living spaces. Meant to be sanctuaries of comfort and peace, can sometimes become unintentional storage units for a lifetime of memories, purchases, and well-intentioned gifts. Think about those closets bursting at the seams, the garage that you can barely walk through, or the attic filled with boxes you haven't opened in years. This isn't just about messiness, it's about the subtle but persistent drain on our energy. Each item you own, even if tucked away, holds a tiny bit of your mental bandwidth. There's the thought of, "I should really sort that out," or, "What am I going to do with all of this?" This constant hum of unaddressed tasks can create a background level of stress, making it harder to relax and truly enjoy your home. The pain point here is the overwhelming feeling, the paralysis that sets in when you look at a mountain of possessions and simply don't know where to start. It can feel like a monumental task, too big to tackle, leading to procrastination and even a sense of guilt. But here's the wonderful news: you don't need to tackle it all at once. The actionable step here is to start small, incredibly small. Pick one drawer, just one. Perhaps it's your sock drawer or the kitchen junk drawer. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. Take everything out. And then, for each item, ask yourself a few simple questions. Do I use this regularly? Does it bring me joy or serve a practical purpose right now? And perhaps most importantly, for items with sentimental value, does holding on to the item itself truly enhance the memory, or is the memory safely within me? Independent of the object, many people find the 4-box method incredibly helpful. Label boxes: keep, donate, trash, and relocate for things that belong in another room. Don't try to sort your entire house in a day. Commit to just 15 or 30 minutes a few times a week. Imagine the feeling of opening a drawer or a cabinet and seeing only what you truly need and love. One wonderful example I often hear is from people who finally clear out a spare bedroom that had become a storage space. Suddenly, that room transforms into a peaceful guest room, a quiet reading nook, or a dedicated hobby space. It's not just about getting rid of things, it's about reclaiming space, both physical and mental. The lightness that comes from knowing everything has a place, or that something you no longer need can bless someone else, is truly transformative. It allows you to breathe deeper in your own home. Now, while we often focus on the tangible, there's another vast area of clutter that quietly accumulates in our lives, often without us even realizing it. Our digital spaces. Think about your old smartphone or computer. How many thousands of photos are stored there? Many duplicates, many blurry, or from events you barely remember. What about the seemingly endless stream of unread emails in your inbox? Some from years ago, others from mailing lists you don't even recall signing up for. And then there are the apps on your phone you downloaded years ago and haven't touched since, or the multitude of files on your computer desktop, all unorganized. This digital overload, just like physical clutter, drains your energy and creates a subtle sense of disorganization. The painful reality of digital clutter is that it makes it harder to find important information when you need it, slows down your devices, and can even contribute to a general feeling of being overwhelmed and out of control in our increasingly digital world. You might worry about losing precious memories if you delete anything. Or perhaps the sheer volume of unread messages feels like an insurmountable mountain. It's a modern burden that didn't exist for previous generations. Yet it can be just as heavy. The actionable steps to declutter your digital life are remarkably similar to decluttering your physical space, just applied to a different dimension. Again, start small. Dedicate just 10-15 minutes a few times a week. A great place to begin is your email inbox, instead of letting hundreds or thousands of unread messages pile up. Start by unsubscribing from newsletters and promotional emails you no longer read. Most emails have an unsubscribe link at the bottom. Use it liberally. Then, create a simple folder system for the emails you truly need to keep, for example, finances, family, important documents. Make it a habit to delete or file emails as soon as you've dealt with them. When it comes to photos, consider taking some time to go through your camera roll or photo library. Delete duplicates, blurry shots, and photos you genuinely don't want to keep. Cloud storage services can help you organize and back up your truly cherished memories, so you don't have to fear losing them. For your computer files, create clear, descriptive folders, and regularly delete old downloads or documents you no longer need. An example of the incredible difference this makes is the profound clarity you feel when your email inbox is empty, or when you can quickly find that one treasured photo from a family vacation without endless scrolling. It's a wonderful feeling of order and control in a part of your life that can often feel chaotic. Just as with physical clutter, decluttering your digital space frees up mental bandwidth, allowing you to focus on the present moment and what truly matters. Moving on from the tangible and digital, let's talk about something far less visible but equally heavy: unfinished projects and lingering obligations. Do you have a half-knitted scarf tucked away? A language course you started but never finished? Or a garden project that's been sitting half-done for months, maybe even years? What about those committee meetings you feel obligated to attend? Or the social engagements you dread but can't quite bring yourself to say no to? These aren't just minor annoyances. They represent a significant drain on your mental and emotional energy. Each unfinished task, each unfulfilled promise to yourself or others, carries a subtle weight, a little tug on your conscience. The painful reality is that these lingering shoulds create a pervasive sense of guilt, perpetual procrastination, and a feeling of being perpetually behind. They whisper to you, reminding you of what you haven't done, preventing you from truly relaxing and embracing new opportunities. This mental clutter can be more exhausting than any physical chore, simply because it's always there, humming in the background of your mind. You might feel a sense of failure for not completing something, or a fear of disappointing others by saying no. The actionable step here is surprisingly liberating. Make a conscious decision to either finish it or let it go. And letting it go is perfectly fine, even encouraged. Start by making a physical list of all the unfinished projects and lingering obligations that come to mind. Don't censor yourself. Just write them all down. Once you have your list, look at each item. For the unfinished projects, ask yourself, do I still genuinely want to do this? And am I willing to commit a specific time frame to finish it now? If the answer is a resounding yes, then schedule it into your calendar. Break it into smaller steps and commit to making progress. If the answer is no, or not really, then give yourself explicit permission to abandon it. Donate the craft supplies, recycle the old plans, and consciously release the mental burden. It might feel strange at first, but the relief is immense. For obligations, Practice the art of saying no gracefully. You don't need a lengthy explanation. A simple, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I won't be able to commit to that right now," is often sufficient. Remember, saying no to something you don't truly want to do is saying yes to your own well-being and to the things you truly value. An example of the transformation this brings is the person who finally donated a box of craft supplies they hadn't touched in years, clearing space and freeing themselves from the nagging thought of, "I should finish that," or the relief of stepping down from a committee that no longer sparked joy, creating time for more meaningful pursuits. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are precious resources, and you have the right to direct them where they will bring you the most peace and fulfillment. Following this liberation from unfinished tasks, we venture into an even deeper, more personal form of clutter, negative relationships and grudges. As we navigate through life, we inevitably encounter people and situations that cause us pain, disappointment, or frustration. While some of these experiences are transient, many of us carry lingering resentments, old grudges, or continue to engage with relationships that consistently drain our energy rather than uplifting us. This isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about the profound emotional toll that carrying negativity can take. Holding on to anger, bitterness, or unresolved conflict is like carrying a heavy, invisible backpack filled with rocks. It impacts your sleep, your mood, and even your physical health. The painful reality is that these emotional burdens prevent you from fully embracing the present moment, from experiencing true joy, and from making space for new, positive connections. You might feel justified in your anger, or perhaps you believe that forgiving someone means condoning their actions, which is a common misconception. Or you might feel trapped in relationships with family members or longtime friends. Despite their negative impact on your well-being, the actionable steps here involve a powerful act of self-care forgiveness, not necessarily for the other person, but for yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, excusing, or even reconciling. It means choosing to release the emotional burden that person or event holds over you. It's about deciding that you no longer want to carry that weight. This might involve a quiet, internal process of acknowledging the hurt, understanding its impact, and then consciously choosing to let go of the anger and resentment. For relationships that are currently toxic or consistently draining, setting clear boundaries is crucial. This might mean limiting the frequency or duration of interactions, choosing not to engage in certain conversations, or even, in extreme cases, creating distance if a relationship is truly detrimental to your peace. Remember, you have the right to protect your emotional well-being. Focus on cultivating relationships that are reciprocal, where there's mutual respect, support, and genuine affection. An example of the immense freedom this brings is the story of someone who finally chose to forgive a long-held grudge against a family member. They didn't necessarily reconcile, but the internal release of that bitterness allowed them to experience a lightness they hadn't felt in years, opening them up to more joyful interactions with others. It's about understanding that your peace is paramount, and you deserve to surround yourself with people who elevate you, rather than diminish you. Next, we delve into one of the most subtle yet pervasive forms of clutter: outdated beliefs and self-imposed limitations. As we age, it's easy to fall into comfortable patterns of thought, to believe certain things about ourselves, our capabilities, and what's possible for us. We might tell ourselves, "I'm too old to learn a new skill," or "I'm not good with technology," or "That's for younger people." These beliefs, often formed years ago or absorbed from societal expectations, can become invisible cages that limit our potential and prevent us from experiencing new joys and growth. The painful reality is that these self-imposed limitations lead to stagnation, missed opportunities, and a pervasive feeling of being stuck. They whisper narratives that keep us from trying new things, pursuing forgotten passions, or even simply enjoying modern conveniences. This mental clutter isn't about physical objects. It's about the rigid thought patterns that keep us from truly living fully in this vibrant stage of life. You might feel a sense of resignation, believing that certain doors are closed to you because of your age. Or perhaps you fear looking foolish if you try something new and don't immediately succeed. The actionable step here is to become a detective of your own mind. Start by identifying these limiting beliefs. When you think, "I can't do that," pause and ask yourself, is that truly a fact? Or is it just a story I've been telling myself? Challenge these thoughts. Seek out evidence to the contrary. Have you seen someone else your age doing something similar? What if you tried just one small step towards that new skill or experience? Embracing a growth mindset means understanding that our abilities aren't fixed. We can continue to learn and evolve at any age. Perhaps you've always wanted to learn to paint, or play a musical instrument, or even just become more comfortable with online video calls to connect with distant family. Instead of saying, "I can't," try, "I'll try," or "I'll explore how." An inspiring example of this is the individual who, despite years of saying they weren't tech-savvy, decided to take a basic computer class. They discovered the joy of connecting with friends online, managing their finances with ease, and even finding new hobbies through internet research. It wasn't about becoming a tech wizard, but about shedding the limiting belief and opening up a world of new possibilities. This mental decluttering allows you to redefine what's possible for yourself, fostering a sense of curiosity, adventure, and continued personal growth. It empowers you to break free from the invisible chains of can't and embrace the freedom of "I'll try." Finally, let's address something that often feels like a badge of honor, but can actually be a significant source of unseen burden: excessive social engagements and commitments. In our desire to stay active, connected, and relevant, it's easy to overschedule ourselves. We say yes to every invitation, join multiple clubs, volunteer for numerous causes, and feel obligated to fill every moment with activity. While social connection is vital, there's a fine line between healthy engagement and becoming overwhelmed. The painful reality is that this constant busyness can lead to exhaustion, burnout, and a feeling of being constantly rushed. You might find yourself sacrificing precious personal time for rest, reflection, or your own quiet hobbies, simply because your calendar is packed. This kind of social clutter diminishes the quality of your experiences because you're always looking ahead to the next commitment, rather than fully enjoying the present one. You might feel guilty saying no, or fear missing out, or perhaps you feel a deep-seated obligation to be constantly doing. This relentless pace can paradoxically make you feel less connected to yourself and what truly nourishes your soul. The actionable step here is to prioritize quality over quantity and to embrace the power of the gracious no. Begin by regularly reviewing your social calendar and commitments. Ask yourself, does this activity truly bring me joy, energy, and genuine connection? Am I participating out of true desire or out of a sense of obligation? If an activity consistently leaves you feeling drained, stressed, or resentful, it might be time to gently scale back or step away. Learn to say no with kindness and firmness, without feeling the need to over-explain. "Thank you so much for the invitation, but I won't be able to make it," is a complete sentence. Equally important is to consciously schedule me time, periods of uninterrupted solitude, rest, or pursuit of personal hobbies. Treat these appointments with yourself as sacred as any other commitment. An example of the profound liberation this brings is the person who, instead of rushing from one social event to the next every day, chose to dedicate an afternoon each week to quiet reading in their favorite armchair, or to a leisurely walk in nature. This intentional carving out of personal space allowed them to feel more refreshed, more present in their chosen engagements, and ultimately, more deeply connected to themselves. It's about creating a balanced life where your social interactions are genuinely enriching, rather than simply filling time. So, as we've explored together, Decluttering before you turn 70 isn't just about tidying up a few rooms. It's a holistic journey of shedding burdens from the physical objects that weigh down your home to the digital overflow that clogs your mind, the unfinished projects that create guilt, and the negative relationships and old grudges that drain your spirit. We've also talked about freeing yourself from outdated beliefs that limit your potential and from the relentless pressure of excessive social commitments. Each of these areas, when addressed, opens up incredible space in your life, not just for physical comfort, but for profound emotional lightness and mental clarity. Remember, this isn't about perfection or becoming a minimalist overnight. It's about taking small, consistent steps. One drawer, one email, one conscious decision at a time. Every single item you release, every limiting belief you challenge, every obligation you gracefully decline, creates more room for joy, peace, and genuine freedom. I truly hope that exploring these 6 areas has given you a fresh perspective and inspired you to begin your own decluttering journey. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Which of these areas resonated most with you? What's one small step you're going to take this week to live a little lighter? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your stories are so valuable and can inspire others in our community. If you found this video helpful and encouraging, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from this message. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel for more content designed to help you live your very best life at every age. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, you have the power to create a life filled with purpose, peace, and boundless freedom. Live your best life at every age.